Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
Waiting to rise again.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Quirks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is the moment you've all been waiting for.
Locking down the middle of the day. Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Welcome in. Hunt Palmer coming to you from the Raising Cane studio downtown in the capital city on this Friday. Brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp. Got Jordan Kitchens, Cassie Spazzali back there on the ones and twos, working towards the weekend. Hope you're off the clock. If not, we'll get you to the finish line here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Preston Guy in 15 minutes talking Tiger football. Get you ready for the LSU, not the SEC, the NFL Sunday to come. Get you Saints-Panthers preview and prediction. LSU and SMU will play some hoops coming up on Saturday night in New Orleans. We will certainly talk about that. There's some drama in Ann Arbor. LSU's schedule's been released. Should LSU pursue Bryce Underwood if he's in the portal? There's lots to do, plus Caleb Jackson in the portal as well. Let's crank it up the way we now do every single day with our favorite Chevrolet GMC opening drive.
Welcome to the big league.
It's time for Hunt's Opening Drive. Presented by Fabry Chevrolet GMC in St. Francisville.
All right, off and running here. LSU's football schedule released with the rest of the Southeastern Conference yesterday. And we talked about it in a previewing manner on yesterday's show. And I want to be clear to start this. I understand that as we sit here on December the 12th, I don't know who's playing for anybody next year. I don't have a perfect idea of who the head coaches are going to be next year. I don't really know anything about next year. But we can make some educated guesses and give some opinions on what we found out yesterday evening when the SEC rolled this thing out for the first time with 9 league games per team. So when I told you yesterday, previewing this thing, I'd liked LSU potentially to get a little bit of a runway here. Why? Well, because Lane Kiffin and Charlie Weiss Jr. are coming in with a brand new offense. And in my opinion, they will have a brand new starting quarterback. So I'd like those people to get some reps when the bullets are flying before things get really difficult. I know Clemson's first, but maybe you throw Kentucky up there at the front of the line. Maybe you throw Mississippi State or Arkansas up there towards the front of the line so that those guys on the offensive side can get things going. And oh, by the way, you have continuity on defense with your staff, but you might lose 7, 8 starters depending on who you want to call a starter. So, you're overhauling the defensive personnel as well. This is going to be a very new football team. That doesn't make LSU unique by any stretch of the imagination. A lot of teams are new, and a lot of teams will be better in November than they are in September. But I thought, well, let's see if we can get LSU a little bit of a runway to start the season next year. Well, that didn't happen. You start with Clemson. That's your own fault. But then you got Louisiana Tech. Okay. And then you better be ready to go because the next 2 games in September are at Ole Miss, which is going to be an absolute circus. Game day will be there. It'll be the biggest crowd in the history of Ole Miss football. The Grove will be live. It'll probably be night, prime time. It's going to be an absolute hornet's nest for Lane Kiffin headed back to Oxford. And then you got to come home and play Texas A&M, which will very likely have Mike Elko and very likely have Marcel Reed. That's the 2 ingredients, I think, that have made them very good this year. Certainly they're very good on both lines of scrimmage. They got the SEC Defensive Player of the Year. I get all that. We talked about it at the beginning. We don't know who anybody's going to have, but quarterback and head coach are pretty important, and A&M looks to have those back next year. So your first month is Clemson at Ole Miss and against Texas A&M. That is brutal. And this schedule is kind of put together like a sandwich. The middle of it is manageable, but on the outside, it is brutal. I just gave you September, and then we go back to November. After the bye week, you've got Alabama, you've got Texas, both coming to Tiger Stadium. You go to Knoxville, Tennessee, and then you finish with the only back-to-back road trips on your schedule. That's Arkansas following the trip to Knoxville. And while I don't think Arkansas is going to be worth a flip, it's going to be cold. It's going to be cold in Knoxville too. So your last 4 games, Bama and Texas in Tiger Stadium, at Tennessee, at Arkansas. That's very, very difficult. So you combine September and November, those are really, really tough schedules. However, the middle is manageable. After Texas A&M, you play McNeese. You've got that FCS game built in there on October the 3rd. Then you go to Kentucky. They've got a new coach. I don't think they're going to be great. That's my opinion. It'll be a manageable game. You come home to play Mississippi State for the first time in Tiger Stadium since, I believe, 2021. No, 2022. 2022. That's a wild, 2026, 2024 years between Mississippi State coming to Tiger Stadium, but that should be a manageable game. And then you're at Auburn, who is in a coaching change. So those 4 games, McNeese, at Kentucky, home Mississippi State, at Auburn, represent the softer portion of your schedule. Now, Alex Golesh may go get a quarterback, and Auburn may be great next year, but they haven't been very good in quite a few years. So I'm going to go off of that history and suggest that October is LSU's most manageable month. Now, in totality, you look at this schedule, and I'll just be honest from my perspective. I think everyone kind of looks at things a little bit differently. There are plenty of people who are LSU fans, and this goes for A&M fans and Florida fans and Bama fans and Clemson fans and whoever. Fans just have different ways of looking at things. There are some that will look at LSU's schedule and go, well, LSU's going to be awesome. We've got Lane Kiffin. Clemson's losing their quarterback. Dabo doesn't go in the portal. Like, we'll crush them, and we took Ole Miss's coach. Pete Golding doesn't have anything. They won't be good. A&M's losing their lines of scrimmage. Like, we'll handle that. You know you're going to deal with Kentucky and State. Auburn's not any good. And, like, who cares about Bama now? They're not intimidating. Like, they'll go through it and do it that way and say, that's 11-1, 10-2 with Kiffin. Like, you just did it at Ole Miss. He'll do it here. There's some fans that look like that. There are some that look at this and go, well, this is impossible. Your entire defense is gone. You're putting in a new offense. You don't even know who's going to be on the team. Like, this just looks brutal. Sankey should have never put 9 games on the schedule anyway, and we should never put Clemson on the schedule, and there's no chance next year. And I'm, generally speaking, I think towards the middle. I am quite often called a homer, and I'm quite often called overly pessimistic. Take that for what it's worth, but that happens a lot on the internet. My take on this schedule, as I look at it, is it looks brutal to me. It looks absolutely brutal. For me to try to get to 10 wins with only 2 losses just seems very difficult. You've got to play 5 league road games. And then your home games, which is supposed to be where you make hay, are Texas and Bama and Clemson and A&M. Like, that is not easy. A trip to Auburn's not supposed to be easy. A trip to Knoxville is not supposed to be easy. And then whatever the weather shows you in Fayetteville, like, who knows? It looks very, very difficult. I saw this schedule and I looked at it and I went, God, that's hard. And then Chris Marler sent out a tweet. We know that Chris writes for us at LouisianaSports.net. We know that Chris leans a certain Crimson way. And he showed Alabama's schedule in the middle of things. And you start to look at that and you go, well, Bama's schedule tells me that they've got a deal in the middle of their schedule with one stretch that's Georgia, at Tennessee, Texas A&M, at LSU, at Vanderbilt. Like, that's really difficult. Maybe Vanderbilt stinks next year. They don't have Pavia. Like, I don't know. But generally speaking, Georgia's really good. At Tennessee is never a picnic. A&M feels like it's got to go in the right direction. And then you got to go to Tiger Stadium. Like, that's a really hard stretch. And then Billy Lucci over in College Station sent out a tweet talking about Texas A&M's schedule, and specifically the end of Texas A&M's schedule. And that's at South Carolina, Tennessee, at Oklahoma, and Texas. And oh, by the way, right before that's at Alabama. They got a bye there, but you're talking about the last 5 games that's at Bama, at South Carolina, Tennessee, at Oklahoma, Texas. That's brutal. And then I started to get the sense, it's like, okay, this is just the deal. You've created a situation now when you add Texas and Oklahoma, who have made the playoff in the last 2 years, and you look at the Southeastern Conference, and in the last 2 years, since we've gone to a 12-team playoff, Texas has made it, A&M has made it, Ole Miss has made it, Bama's made it, Georgia's made it, Tennessee's made it. That's 6. Oklahoma's made it. That's 7. Vanderbilt just went 10-2. That's an 8th team. And then I didn't even mention LSU, Auburn, and Florida have won national championships in the not-too-distant past. That's 11. So unless you want to load this thing up with Arkansas and Mississippi State and Kentucky, that's 3 teams. You have to play 6 other ones. Nobody's got it easy. And the question now shifts from how does LSU manage the schedule to, how often are teams going to be going 11-1, 12-0? How often is that going to happen? Because it happened almost every year in the old days. LSU's best teams went 12-0. 11-19 went 12-0. Saban could go 12-0. Kirby could go 12-0. Cam Newton could go 12-0. That was happening a lot in the Southeastern Conference. And now I look at things and I'm like, man, the way this thing looks, where you're overhauling your roster every single year and you're playing these schedules, you got 9 league games and you've added Texas and Oklahoma and you've got Bama and Georgia and LSU and Texas A&M's playing great and you got to go to Knoxville. You got to go to the Swamp. Ole Miss is playing good. I started thinking about LSU's schedule 10 years ago. This is very generic, but I think you'll follow along as an LSU fan. I'm not going to point to a specific year and go roster by roster, but let's just go back 10 or 12 years ago. Would it have been unreasonable for me to look at you, the LSU fan, 10 or 12 years ago and say, okay, you're playing the West. Mississippi State's not going to be very good. You'll be better than them. Arkansas is not going to be very good. You'll be better than them. Ole Miss is not going to be very good. You'll be better than them. A&M's never climbed the mountain. They've usually got some pros and their stadium's loud, but you've handled them. And then you got Auburn, who's sometimes really good and sometimes not. And then you got Florida, who's sometimes really good and sometimes not. And you play one more team out of the East. Might be South Carolina, might be Vanderbilt, might be Kentucky, might be Missouri. And really, I've just left out Alabama there. And you could kind of boil it down to that, right? That's just gone. That is just gone. I just ran through the 11 teams that should be pretty relevant and 7 who have made the playoff in the last 2 years. Ole Miss is no doormat. A&M is no doormat. Vanderbilt's no doormat right now. Last year, South Carolina played everybody tough. It's just, the parity is just different than it was 10 or 12 years ago. I could look you in the face in August and go, Mississippi State can't beat you. Arkansas is not going to beat you. Ole Miss is not very good. You drew Kentucky out of the East. Maybe Auburn's good. You get the point. Everybody's schedule looks brutal on paper because there's 9 of them now, and there just aren't a lot of programs you look at and go, they're awful. Mississippi State's been awful. Arkansas's been awful. I think Kentucky's awful, and Florida's in a rut. But, it just looks really hard. And so when I looked at this on paper yesterday, I went, I don't know how else you can possibly navigate this. And then Marlo looked at Bama's, and Lucci looked at A&M's, and I could probably look at anybody's. And sometimes it shakes out like it did for A&M this year, where they had a good team and they just got the bottom of the league. And you just don't really know year to year what that's going to be. But as you look at it right now with so many question marks, it just looks really difficult. I know the first month looks hard. I know the last month looks hard and cold. And we'll see what Lane Kiffin and his staff can do in year number 1. Not getting any easier in the Southeastern Conference. That much is absolutely positive. That's our favorite Chevrolet GMC opening drive. We're brought to you by Corks, Cajun Fried Fish, and Shrimp. We'll come back with Preston Guy next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
You need to go to Marucci. You need to go today because the Hitter's House is open today, and I can't make you any promises after that. Matt will be there for AFR a little bit later this afternoon. Come by and take some hacks in the indoor batting cage. It's a Friday. Want to get the kiddos out, let them rent some rounds. Time limit. You can become a member. 24/7 access to the member cages, plus 15% retail store discount. But at the Hitter's House, you can get monster discounts on Marucci, Victus, Balm, Lizard Skins, all the hottest brands in youth baseball, in youth softball. If you've got a youth baseball or softball player under your roof, you can't afford not to go to the Hitter's House at Marucci. So get on by, see them. You can check out an opportunity to go on the tour. You get 20% off in the Hitter's House that same day if you go on the tour. Check them out at maruccisports.com/campus-tour. It's the Hitter's House at Marucci.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
With all the delicious chicken finger options, it was an impossible decision.
How about a box combo? Good. Now what can I get for you?
No, I want a Caniac combo with extra cane sauce, no slaw, 2 extra toast, and a half sweet tea, half lemonade.
Celebrate the holidays with Raising Cane's chicken fingers. One love.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs, set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free, confidential help now.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. If you're battling an insurance company because of a wreck not your fault and they're not calling you back or being fair, whether you hire us at all, give us a call, 272-5555, or email LockeMeredith, Sean Fagan and Associates. You have nothing to lose.
Hello, I'm Collins Meredith. If you've been injured on the job, you likely have a workers' compensation claim, but you may also have a tort claim, which opens up significant recovery rights.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
Friday show is brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp. Get on by government between Foster and Jefferson. Still time to grab a delicious shrimp po' boy on this Friday. Head on home. Hammer it down. Love our friends over at Corks. Check out the menu, corksfishandshrimp.com. Bring on Preston Guy from tigerbait.com. Joined us on Fridays. Talk a little football. Preston, how are you?
Good. How are you? I'm doing well.
I'm quite well. Let's talk about LSU's coaching staff. There's been a lot of development since we last spoke last Friday. The first being that Blake Baker has agreed to come back. That happened about 4 hours after we finished chatting. They sent a lot of contracts up to the Board of Supervisors today. It includes the offensive staffers that come from Ole Miss. It included Blake Baker as well. How do you feel about the staff that Lane Kiffin is assembling? You can kind of take that whichever way you want.
Yeah, I think it's a very good one. I mean, anytime you pair a defensive mind like Blake Baker with an offensive mind like Lane Kiffin and Charlie Weiss Jr., you've got a really good, smart, tactical mindset. I know you wrote a column and I wrote a column, both basically on the same day, coincidentally, like saying, hey, hire someone who knows how to call plays. Well, you talk about tactical knowledge. I think from that standpoint, LSU is about as elite as they come this coming year. So I'm very happy at that. Obviously, some work to do. Looks like that running back coach is still up in the air. the more things go, the more I'm leaning toward it's probably going to end up being Ole Miss running coach Kevin Smith coming on in. And ultimately, it's a pretty good staff. I know a lot of people would probably prefer Frank Wilson. My thought is, whether it's Frank Wilson or Kevin Smith, I don't know that my thoughts on this staff really change too dramatically in one way or the other. I mean, it is a very good coaching staff, one that you could be excited with. Now, some work to get the roster to that equal level of excitement, but we'll see with the portal opening January 2nd.
Let's just have your discussion. I wrote a column yesterday about Frank Wilson, and I said, and I talked about it on the show, I said if he lets Frank walk and he hires Kevin Smith, I will understand that, absolutely. I will disagree with it a little bit. If it's neither and he lets Frank Wilson walk, I will vehemently disagree with it. I find value in Frank's spot on the staff. Where do you stand? Because I wrote that column, and most of the feedback I got was get Frank Wilson out of here, which really surprises me, but I shouldn't be surprised.
I've had a lot of very vocal anti-Frank guys.
Yeah.
I would still argue the majority of people want Frank to be retained. If it's not Kevin Smith, I don't know, you would have to hit some sort of grand slam home run for it not to be Frank Wilson. I'm frustrated with his running back rotation, as is a lot of people. But, the body of work, the New Orleans connection, it's still a good thing to have. And if Lane Kiffin doesn't want Frank Wilson, there's going to be plenty of people, including, by the way, probably Ole Miss and Texas, would both love to have Frank Wilson if LSU doesn't. So, that's kind of where I'm at more or less. And then, one of the things you have to consider with Kevin Smith is if he comes, does that entail that Keywan Lacey may follow him to LSU? And I would argue that's not unlikely at all.
Yeah, the folks over at Ole Miss kind of feel like if Kevin Smith were to end up in Baton Rouge, Keywan Lacey would follow, and I would not complain about that at all because that dude, he's over 1,000 yards.
That's a big bonus.
He's 1,000 yards after contact this year, which is remarkable stuff from the running back there in Oxford.
Well, he's going to need that if the offensive line doesn't improve.
Exactly right. So let's talk about Blake Baker's returning. You mentioned it a little bit there, but I want to drill down deeper because of the reasons he gave for staying when he came on off the bench, talked about his family not wanting to leave and feeling like he was on the Kirby Smart track where it was going to be big-time Power 5 head job or he was going to stay here at LSU and coordinate the defense. How do you feel about that for this program, not just the team, in 2026?
I mean, that's a huge deal. That's a big deal to have a coordinator with that mindset. I don't know that there's very many coordinators turning down gigs like Tulane, which, by the way, is a good group of 5 job. Now, admittedly, the pay raise itself, they probably were offering them around $4 to $4.5 million. Well, it turns out LSU is going to give them $3 million. So it's not like a life-changing pay increase. I mean, look, any one of us would sit here and be like, 25% pay increase? Let's go. But it's not like a whole nother stratosphere of pay, right? And I think it's a very wise move on his part to wait for the right head coaching job. Look at Kirby Smith. Look at Dan Lanning. I mean, Kirby Smart. I'm saying Kirby Smith. Oh, my gosh. Kirby Smart in particular stuck around Bama 8 years and turned down tons of head coaching opportunities, waited for D1. And that's obviously paid off very well. So if you can get yourself in a position where a bright, top-of-the-line coordinator wants to stick around for long-term, not 3-4 years, until a great Power 5 job opens. I mean, that's great. It also says a lot about your program that a coordinator would want to turn around opportunities like Tulane. And frankly, I'll argue it also says a lot about Lane Kiffin. The fact that he was able to come here and one of the first things he did was convince a guy he's never coached with, convince a guy who basically, his boss got fired and you convinced him, hey, don't go be your own boss. Come work for me still. I think it speaks volumes for a lot of these things.
Let's talk about the portal entrance. I think Ahmad Bro is probably the biggest name. Caleb Jackson went in earlier today. You got Jelani Watkins and Wallace Foster, and there have certainly been a few. What have you made of that?
Well, Juwan Johnson,
yeah,
that one hurts too, I think, although square peg, round hole, I think he's probably going to want to go somewhere where he has a clear, defined role. They probably didn't get that clear, defined answer from Kiffin immediately upon coming to town, partially because they don't even have a running back coach named yet. So it's hard to get those definitive details. I don't blame him. But here's the deal. At your running back scholarship backs right now, you were already thin coming into the season because of what's been going on with Trey Holly and JT Lindsey, now you're down to 2 running backs. Now, they're 2 very good running backs, Harlem Berry and Caden Durham. They're also 2 running backs where lots of schools will be willing to come at them with a bag. So you find yourself remarkably thin at that position. You need depth really badly. And I'm sure adding a guy like Keywan Lacey would help with both depth and quality, but you need more than just him. You cannot, at a minimum, you need 4 scholarship ready-to-go backs and preferably 5 or more. So they're going to have to hit the portal hard for that, but probably not as hard as they're going to have to hit for quarterback and offensive line.
No doubt, and we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Were you surprised to see Ahmad Bro's name go in?
A little bit, yeah, but it's a coaching change. And he's losing his defensive line coach. And by the way, that's the one spot. We talked about running back spot being up in the air, but looking like there's some wishy-washiness from Elijah Robinson right now, who initially all expectations were that he was going to come, and now it's looking a little up in the air or even doubtful. So, that's not shocking to see, but I will say this. He's the one contributor to this team. He and Juwan Johnson are the 2 people who are entering the portal where these guys were actually contributing snaps in meaningful ball games and helping the team win. So, yeah, that kind of sucks, but at the end of the day, you're clearing up for some reps to come in for a very elite defensive line class coming in, and you're probably going to have to go replace them with some veteran guy to help those young guys get ready. But, yes, a little surprising, but not ultimate. I mean, really, ultimately, anytime you get a new head coach, can you really be too shocked at anybody leaving?
No, not in the least. What's your interest level in LSU against Houston in the Texas Bowl?
I'm not sure I'm allowed to keep my job if I answer that honestly.
Okay.
It's been a tough game to watch this year. I will be looking forward to these young players and seeing, how they continue to develop, what kind of impact. I don't think you're going to see your starting quarterback for next year playing in this game. And, I don't think that we're going to see any offensive wrinkles. I don't think Lane Kiffin's sitting there giving Alex Atkins play calling advice for this bowl game. So I think it's going to be pretty rough. It's a tough draw. Houston is a good opponent for sure. I think that LSU's defense will keep it close, but ultimately, if you had to gauge my interest on the ball game going down or what's going on in this portal and Lane Kiffin's coaching staff, it's not close.
That is correct. Any chance Mansour Delane wins the Thorpe tomorrow?
He should win Thorpe. He should. Now, the bad news is for him, he was so good, nobody threw his way all year, right? So he basically has the stats of like a backup corner, right? But it's not because he wasn't on the field. He scared every quarterback away from throwing his direction, right? And which is doubly impressive considering the players that they were throwing to weren't scrubs. It's not like LSU's DBs played exceptionally poor this year. No, they had solid DBs across the field from him. So it's not like they're picking on some bad DB and just, well, that guy's good. No, he had an exceptional year. He should win the Thorpe. I have said that a number of times. He's probably had, in terms of pure coverage, not like playmaking. LSU's had a lot of playmaking corners. In terms of pure coverage, he's been one of the best cover corners I've seen in LSU. In terms of just not letting guys get open, quietly going out there doing his business. Peterson, Matthew, great playmakers for sure, and Peterson certainly. Peterson also, his numbers didn't look as good because he got tested by Julio Jones. But,
yes.
Man, Mansour Delane is as good as any of them in pure coverage. I hope he wins it.
We'll see. Caleb Downs' Lifetime Achievement Award seems like it may be incoming, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Have a great weekend, Preston. We'll talk next week. Thanks, man.
Talk to you soon, Hunt.
Preston Guy, TigerBait.com. All your football coverage you can find over there at Tiger Bait. Preston's got you covered. He's here on Fridays as well. We'll take a time out. It's going to be a wild Sunday in the National Football League. We'll talk about it next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Brand new. Opened up October the 1st, so they have not even been in business for 4 months. But you know the Fabry family. They've been in business in Baton Rouge for 35 years. They got 3 different locations, 5 brands. This one, Highway 61 in St. Francisville. Short drive to the north, and you can get all those great models that you look for from Chevrolet and GMC. You want a Tahoe? They got them. Silverados, got them. Sierra, Yukon, Denali on the GMC side, they've got those as well. So make the short drive up to St. Francisville. If you're looking, what can I find up there? Well, you can check out the website first, FabryChevrolet.com. You know this family. You know the emphasis they put on customer service, and now they're proud to represent Chevrolet and GMC. So if you're in the market in December, I know December is a very, very busy month for car purchasing. Getting towards the back end of September here, but still December here, but still plenty of time to get on by at Fabry Chevrolet GMC and see them. They also service all makes in the service department if you need to get some work done and you're in the area as well. Go see them, Highway 61 in St. Francisville. It's Fabry Chevrolet GMC.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Flight by Yingling. Raise the bar.
Most roofers just replace your shingles. At Pelican, we diagnose your roof, digging deep down to find the root cause of your roof symptoms. Now cough for me. Good. We don't ignore your roof's issues, we address them. Let's just take care of this right here, helping your roof to become the best version of itself. Interesting that you would say that. How does that make you feel? So call Pelican Roofing for your free roof checkup today.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith with Locke Meredith Sean Fagan and Associates. We take great pride in educating our clients about their rights. Whether you're injured at work or while you drive, call our office at 272-5555. Knowledge is power, and you should know your rights after an injury.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan of Locke Meredith Sean Fagan and Associates. When insurance companies have been unfair, we've never been afraid to go to trial. Fighting hard to protect your rights, we never settle a case out of convenience. We only settle when it's right for you. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call.
South Louisiana, it's turnaround season, and River Parish Contractors is calling in the best of the best. We're hiring pipe fitters, iron workers, boiler makers, combo and structural welders, rig welders, carpenters, crane operators, dirt operators, and more. If you're ready to work, ready to earn, and ready to build something that lasts, call Big Jake at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
All right, Saints and Panthers in the afternoon slot. Not that they're all afternoon if they start at noon, but you get the picture. The later than noon start in the Superdome. We will talk about that and give you my projection for that game coming up in 15 minutes. Also talk some LSU basketball, Tigers and SMU in New Orleans. I'm going to do that at the top of the hour. SMU's got some guards, y'all. It's going to be tough for LSU to guard them. I was excited to try to get to go to that game in New Orleans. Doesn't sound like I'm going to be able to break free. Got the wife's friend brunch tomorrow in New Orleans. I was thinking I could roll that into a day in the quarter and then go. She was not too keen on that idea. I think it's hang out with the friends, which is going to be a lot of fun. But I never get to go to LSU games as a fan and have a couple beers, and
it's
yell.
in New Orleans, you know.
I know.
It's a Sunday.
I always write and in the press box, which trust me is a great job, and I love it. But I haven't gone to an LSU game as just a true fan since the Bama baseball Thursday game last year. That was the last time I went as a fan. I went with my dad and Myers. So I never get to do it for football, and I rarely do it for basketball. This is the one I was like, I'm going to be in New Orleans anyway. I'll go. She was like, I think we're going to hang out. And I was like, okay. Again, it will be fun. We'll watch the game. It's not like I'm going to miss it or be somewhere I hate. I just thought I had the chance to go and knock down a couple drinks and watch the Tigers and the Ponies. Not going to happen.
Do you feel like you enjoy the games a lot more now as a fan perspective, or you rather just be working?
Oh, no. I
get it.
Like, I much rather would go tailgate and go watch the game and cheer and yell.
You get good seats when you're working.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you do. And the PMAC are terrible. They're up in the rafters way up high. But I would love to be a fan. I'm just this is the job I'm cut out for. I tried in 2 different lives to go do something else, and it didn't work. So I'm here. That's okay. I'm not complaining about the gig. I just every once in a while I would like a chance to break free and watch the game and have a few pops and not write a story after it. Tomorrow, probably not going to get to go to the game. We'll see. All right, let's talk about the NFL on Sunday. Tier 4, there's some bad football on Sunday. There's a lot of good football, but there is some bad football. I'm going to try to tie in some local angles with Tier 4 here. There are 3 games. The Commanders are not good. They're 3-10. The Giants also not good. NFC East showdown. The Giants are 2-11. Someone has to win. That's good news for the Saints. Brian Burns of the Giants, second in the NFL in 13 sacks. This game has far more intrigue on the top pick in the draft than it does actual football. So we'll see. From a Saints perspective, one of those teams has to notch a win, and if it's the Giants, they'll pull even with the Saints in terms of that top pick. I know Saints fans don't want to talk about that all the time, but it is what it is. Raiders are at the Eagles. The local angle here, the Raiders are 2-11. So you got to look at that from a Saints perspective as well. The last 4 for the Raiders: at Philly, at Houston, the Giants, and the Chiefs. The last 2 are at home. That doesn't feel like a lot more than maybe 4 wins for this Raiders team. I think it's probably 3 wins for this Raiders team. It might be 2. If it's 2, you can't get there, but we'll see. Last one is the Titans at the 49ers. The Titans are 2-11 as well. What do they have left? At San Francisco, Kansas City. Then they play the Saints, and then they're at Jacksonville. These games with the Jets and the Titans are going to be big time for the top of the draft for New Orleans. You want to win them, that's fine. I'm all for that, but it is what it is. They mean a lot for the top of the draft. The Titans are looking to win back-to-back games for the first time since, get this, 2002. It is almost 2026. The Titans have not won back-to-back games since 2022.
What?
It's not good.
Wait, 2022 or 2002?
2022.
You said 2002 at first. I was like, wait,
22.
What? Okay, all right.
It's been 3 years. All right. It's been a long time since the Titans won back-to-back games. All right, Tier 3, a little bit better. Ravens at Bengals. This is usually Tier 1 stuff. It is not this year. Lamar Jackson is in a rut. In his last 4 games, he's got 1 touchdown and 4 interceptions. On the flip side, he is 4-0 in his career at Cincinnati. And in those 4 games, 15 touchdowns and 1 interception. Joe's bummed out. He's grumpy. I don't know what's going on in Cincinnati. It's not good. The Browns are at the Bears. The high of this game is 10 degrees. The wind chill is going to be negative 10 degrees. I don't think the offenses are going to look so hot. The Browns offense doesn't look good if it's beautiful outside, much less this on the lakefront. Bears lead the NFL in forcing turnovers. Shedeur Sanders, lowest qualified QBR among active quarterbacks this year of 19.9. We'll see what he can do against an opportunistic Bears secondary. Jets are at the Jags. Tyron Taylor probably out. That means Brady Cook is going to be in for the New York Jets at quarterback. The Jets tied with New Orleans at 3 wins right now. They'll play each other a little bit later on. I don't think they're going to Jacksonville and winning with Brady Cook taking snaps. Cardinals at the Texans. After week 9, the Texans were 3-5. They had 11% chance to make the playoffs. They have won 5 straight, including Buffalo, at New England, and at the Chiefs. They now have an 88% chance to make the playoffs. They host the Cardinals coming up on Sunday. Vikings at the Cowboys. Justin Jefferson not playing the worst. He's producing the worst he has in his NFL career. His last 2 weeks, 4 yards receiving, 11 yards receiving. Worst 2 games of his NFL career. Now, the Cowboys have the worst secondary in the NFL. I know a lot of y'all have Justin Jefferson in fantasy. You need a breakout from that guy in your playoff rounds for sure. Let's go to the good stuff. Tier 2. Chargers are at the Chiefs. Chargers trying to sweep the Chiefs for the first time since 2013. That was 12 years ago. We'll see if they can get it done. Kansas City is 1-6 this year in one-possession games. Last year, they were 11-0, and it's a complete flip from Mahomes, Kelsey, Reed, and company there in Kansas City. They'll host the Chargers. Colts are at Seattle. The Colts were maybe the best team in football at one point this year. Now they're 8-5, and they're not favored in any of their last 4. Now, a lot of that has to do with the fact they lost their quarterback. Seattle's a 13.5-point favorite over the Colts. Hopefully Phillip Rivers doesn't play in this game. I don't think he is, but goodness gracious, I hope he doesn't play in any games. Tier 1, Bills are at the Patriots. New England clinches the East with a win in this game. Drake May is one of 8 quarterbacks in NFL history to win 10 straight games in his first 2 years as a starter. Impressive stuff from New England, but despite the fact that New England has won 10 in a row and is at home, they are an underdog to the Buffalo Bills in this game. Packers are at the Broncos. Denver's got 55 sacks. That leads the NFL. Second place, 44. That's 11 behind them. Still, Packers on the road, 2.5-point favorite in this game. Denver this year, as an underdog, 3-1 outright under Sean P. this season. The Lions are at the Rams. Feels like we're not calling this the Stafford golf swap anymore. They've kind of cemented themselves at their places. The Lions lose. They fall to 8-6. Their playoff chances go to 42%. It's crazy. 42%. If they lose, less than 50% chance they get in the playoffs. If the Rams win, 60% chance at the number 1 seed in the NFC. That is your look at the National Football League. All right, Jordan.
Yes,
Earlier
sir.
this week, you said you would take a couple of million to sit at the game between the Bears and the Browns.
I said he can give me 10,000.
Well, then I switched it to 10,000. So now we're going to do this in a more civil manner. $700.
$700 for hypothermia?
To go to the game in what you were wearing the other day, which was a light jacket and some pants.
Are you covering the beer?
Yes.
You might be talking to me, Hunt. I might be able to get warm enough off some drink.
$250.
No, sir. No, sir.
We
I'm about to say no, sir.
found the limit.
No, sir.
He's not sitting in Soldier Field for $250 when it's minus 10 wind chill.
I can be bought. Not that cheap. Not that cheap. Got to come with a little something.
All right, I just wanted to know where the limit was. We found the limit. Yeah. That's it. And that's a look at the National Football
League. To lose my
League.
fingertips?
Yeah, you might.
I'm good, sir.
You got cold pops in there. They probably got cocktails in there. You can get some bourbon in your system.
Yeah, I might need that because I'm afraid I'm going to get the beer and it's going to freeze as I'm getting back to the seat. So, that might be a problem.
Oh, these people are nuts. The Bears fans love it. They think it's awesome. They call it bear weather. They're just freaks.
So I'm looking at the lowest tickets. They're actually at the lowest ticket this weekend. The lowest ticket is at Baltimore and Cincinnati. The Bears tickets are going as low as $84.
Well, that's in Baltimore and Cincinnati thought they were going to be good, and they're terrible.
Yeah, there's a market for it. There's a market for it.
All right, let's come back. Pick Saints-Panthers. That's next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
I'll tell you where it won't be negative 10 degrees. That's Swing Easy Golf Club. It's going to be perfect 69, 72 degrees, whatever you want to set the temperature to inside at Swing Easy Golf Club. You want to play some golf this weekend, don't have a tee time, you can do it at Swing Easy Golf Club. You just get on by, you get in one of those private bays, fire up Pebble Beach. Play that important golf tournament every April. Give the jacket out for it. They got that course on there as well. Go play TPC Sawgrass. Go play St. Andrews with the buddies. Fire it up. Put some football on the TV. Drink a couple of cold beers. Play inside. Swing Easy Golf Club. You can also work on your game there. Great place to hang out. Play a little golf. You don't have to take 5 hours for your golf round. You can sit there for an hour and a half if you want to. 45 minutes if you want to on your Saturday or your Sunday. Get on by this afternoon to Swing Easy Golf Club. They're on Segan at Perkins. Just a different way to experience golf. We're talking about playing 18 holes, which you can. You hit chips, you hit putts, the whole thing, or you can hit on the driving range. Got incredible technology in those simulators, and it's a great place to just hang out. So go see him, Segan at Perkins, at Swing Easy Golf Club. They're online, swingeasygcbr.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
It's time for Christmas on the River, Cajun style. Join us for the 35th Annual Festival of the Bonfires, December 13th through 15th at Lutcher Park in St. James Parish. Enjoy great food, live music, local crafts, Santa's Very Merry Forest, and carnival rides. Plus, we'll light a new bonfire on Friday and Saturday in preparation for the arrival of Papa Noel. The 2024 Festival of the Bonfires is sponsored by First American Bank and Trust. Log on to festivalofthebonfires.org for more information.
Most roofers just replace your shingles. At Pelican, we diagnose your roof, digging deep down to find the root cause of your roof symptoms. Now cough for me? Good. We don't ignore your roof's issues, we address them. Let's just take care of this right here. Helping your roof to become the best version of itself. Interesting that you would say that. How does that make you feel? So call Pelican Roofing for your free roof checkup today.
Lock Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates has won for our clients over $175 million over the decades. But our greatest success is our clients who have chosen and trusted us to help them. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call. You've got nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan. If you get injured, you could be staring at medical bills, repair costs, and lost income. Life can be turned upside down. At Lock Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, we'll work to turn your world right side up. Hire us, and like thousands of our clients, you'll be glad you did.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Supreme Jasmine is premium.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
All right, closing of hour number one, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp. Got a Christmas party coming up. Got family coming over for the holidays. Don't want to wear yourself out in the kitchen. Corks happy to feed in bulk, whether it's a company Christmas party, whether it's big group lunch, or feeding the family for Christmas. CorksFishandShrimp.com is where you can find the menu. They're happy to help you out with catering. Bring our Friday shows here on the Hunt Palmer Show. All right, Saints and Panthers, 325, Fox, inside the dome. Panthers 2.5-point favorite. I have a take on this game, like right out of the chute on this game. This is the least predictable football game in the NFL this week. What Saints are we going to get here? Like the Saints that are led by Tyler Shoug's tenacity on the ground, playing tough defense like they have the last 3 or 4 weeks, or the Saints team that stinks, which we see all the time. The Saints team that can't move the ball at all in the first half, which we see all the time. I don't know. More so, what Panthers team are we going to get? The one that crushed the Rams, or the one that can't get out of its own way at all, where Bryce Young looks anemic and is turning it over and looks completely befuddled? Do we get the Panthers who leaned on Rico Dowdle for massive rushing yardage, or the Panthers team that couldn't move the ball in the Saints at all in Charlotte? I don't know. I have no idea. I have no idea what I'm getting really out of either of these teams. I know that you've been able to count on the Panthers more than the Saints this year, but that's not saying a ton. I also look at a Carolina team that scored 9 points 3 weeks ago, 2 games ago. They followed up with 31 on the Rams. They scored 7 on the Saints. Followed it up with 30 on the Falcons. They scored 9 on the Bills. Followed it up with a win at Green Bay. I don't know what I'm getting from either of these two teams. So I'm going to try here, but keep in mind that I'm giving myself quite the out in suggesting these two teams are wildly unpredictable. Now, one of the stats that blew me away in researching this game, and credit to ESPN Research for it, I got it from their site, the Panthers are favored. This is almost impossible in the NFL. They have lost 11 straight games outright as a favorite. It's the longest streak in the Super Bowl era. Now, it goes back a while. They've only been a favorite twice this year. They were they're not usually a favorite. But to lose not 11 games in a row, period, which is hard to do in the first place, but to lose 11 games in a row where Vegas says you're favored is remarkable. So as I look at this game, I like the Saints defense in this game. Not necessarily as much as it was great in Charlotte. That was awesome. I don't anticipate that you're going to hold them to one touchdown again. But I don't think that the Panthers are going to score 30 points in this game. The Saints have been better on defense in the last month, and I just don't trust Bryce Young. I saw another really good stat here that Bryce Young's QBR was very good in the game against the Rams, but it was very, very much on third and fourth down that propped that up. His QBR on third and fourth down was 99.3. Now, QBR weighs those downs more heavily because they're more impactful downs. So credit to him for making those plays, but he was a 26.4 QBR in first and second downs in that game. That's not very good. I think the Panthers are improved. I do. I think Dave Canales deserves a lot of credit. I think they've run the ball very well. I think their defense has been very good at times. And Bryce Young has made some plays at times. I don't trust him. I don't think he's a very good NFL quarterback. That's my opinion. Now, the Saints have not proven themselves to have a very good NFL quarterback either. Tyler Shuck has not played nearly enough to earn that moniker. I'm not going to lay everything at his feet because he ran for a couple touchdowns in the rain in Tampa. But you've seen some good things there. What you haven't seen from him yet is a home win. His 2 wins are on the road. It's time for him to come to the Dome and get a win. Well, how do you do that? Well, you need to start where you started in Tampa with running the football. Devin Neal was great in that game, but more so credit to the offensive line for creating some things for him. And Tyler Shuck helped in the run game. I don't want that too much. We talked to Luke Johnson yesterday. I don't want 9 rushing attempts from Tyler Shuck in this game. I'd rather that be closer to 4. But if they're in a key spot, they're on a key third down, he's able to slide when he does run. He can get in the end zone on a run, like make them impactful. I like that. I think there's going to be a little bit of juice in the Dome because of what you saw last week. Last time we said that, they fell flat against Atlanta. Absolutely flat. Off the bye, awful. And I criticized Kellen Moore for that. Last week, I told you I really liked Kellen Moore, what his offense looked like. It looked more like a Kellen Moore offense. It looked like some of the things we saw in Philly. Good running game. Quarterback using his feet. Controlling the clock to an extent. And then what I love from Tyler Shuck was the big throws late in the game on third down. Love to see that. What the Saints can't do in this game is lose that turnover battle. And I keep waiting. This is on me, but I keep waiting for that really questionable Shuck decision. Like, what are you doing? Like the pick he threw last week where it's just like a miscommunication, I'll live with that. It happens. He's new out there. He's not forcing it into a window that's not there. He's not seeing ghosts. He's not wildly inaccurate. It was a miscommunication. He floated it down the right sideline and got picked off. It happens. But I'm waiting for that really. We saw it at Louisville. He's in the grasp of somebody and flings it. That's the stuff you can't have. And if the Saints play this thing straight up, I know that the Panthers' record is 7 wins and the Saints' record is 3 wins. But I don't think the Panthers are significantly better than the Saints. I think they're better. I don't think they're significantly better. And that's why Vegas reflects this as a close line. It's less than a field goal line. I've put my hand on the stove a couple times and looked really foolish picking the Saints to win games. Hand up. Absolutely has happened. The question is, do I have the guts to go out and do that again? Because I'm telling you I don't trust Bryce Young, and I'm telling you that Shuck's played a little better, and I'm telling you the Dome's going to be live. But the Panthers have a lot to play for, and the Saints have very little to play for. The Panthers can really put themselves in a quality position if they win this game. If they win, you got a 40% chance to make the playoffs. If you lose, it's 19%. That's a lot on the line for Carolina. I just don't know that I'm ready to tell you that Carolina is a playoff team. So what I'm going to do is put myself back out there again and pick the New Orleans Saints to win this football game. I picked the Saints to win it 24-21 in the Dome. Tyler Shuck plays well, and that good momentum for the end of the season starts to pick up for the black and gold. I hadn't picked the Saints to win in a while. It's been a minute. I'm feeling it this week. I'm feeling the 3:30 kick, 3:15 kickoff. I'm feeling the juice from last week's win. I don't trust the Panthers. It's time for Shuck to win at home. I'm picking them. Now, that could be the kiss of death, but I'm picking the Saints to win this game. Jordan, does that make you feel worse about this game that I've just done this?
Not really, because one thing I know about the NFC South is that even the top teams, they're accident waiting to happen.
Everybody in this division is an accident waiting
to happen. I do not trust Bryce Young, just like you said. Honestly, I got the Saints 13-20. Saints,
okay.
Easy.
Easy money, he says, by one
Easy.
score.
I just think the Panthers, they I don't know, something about Bryce Young and the Saints, it just doesn't work.
Didn't work the last time in Charlotte. Hopefully it doesn't work this time in the Dome. That's our look at the New Orleans Saints. You can find all our Saints coverage, Hunt on Saints on YouTube. Missing the first hour, talk to the LSU football with Preston Guy and LSU schedule release. You can find those at Hunt on LSU. Speaking of LSU, Hoops team, big one, Saturday night in the blender. We're talking about it coming up next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Highland Insurance Group, HighlandIG.com is the website. Jonathan Carver and his team they're great to work with. I spent a lot of time in the insurance business. I've spent a lot of time with the folks at the Highland Insurance Group, and they know what they're doing. And not everyone in the insurance game knows what he or she is doing. I know that well. And if you're a business owner and you're not sure what the ins and outs are of EPL coverage or crime coverage or cyber coverage or why you may need that, they'll tell you at the Highland Insurance Group. I'm not going to force you to buy it, but they're going to explain to you what your risks are and how you can mitigate those. That's the important thing when it comes to insurance. At times, people just flip to the back page on the renewal and go, what does it cost? Okay, how much is that going to cost me a month? But while that's important, it's not everything. Coverage is vital as well. Cyber breaches happen. Car accidents happen. Hurricanes happen. The Highland Insurance Group is here to help you out with all that. Check them out online, HighlandIG.com, HighlandIG.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
South Louisiana, it's turnaround season, and River Parish Contractors is calling in the best of the best. We're hiring pipe fitters, iron workers, boiler makers, combo and structural welders, rig welders, carpenters, crane operators, dirt operators, and more. If you're ready to work, ready to earn, and ready to build something that lasts, call Big Jake at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. We are honored and humbled to receive from our clients in Google, based on 5-star client reviews, the designation of our law firm is highly recommended. Whether you hire us at all, please give us a call, 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. Injuries happen when you least expect them to, making your life more complicated. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, we know this, and we strive to help each of our clients during these times. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's.
One love. Let's go.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Ed Benkin. Former Michigan coach Sharon Moore was arraigned earlier today. Moore has been charged with stalking and home invasion. Moore was fired as the Michigan football coach earlier this week. To NFL news, where T.J. Watt had surgery to repair a partially collapsed lung. There's no timetable in his recovery. The Steelers host the Dolphins on Monday night. To the Jets, who once again will have a new starting quarterback, according to Aaron Glenn, due to injuries. It's Brady Cook's turn to take the starting spot.
Tyrod will be out. Justin will be out. Mason Taylor will be out. AZ will be out. And Kiko will be out. So that means that Brady will be our starting quarterback this week.
The Jets play the Jaguars. Both Tyrod Taylor and several other players out for this game. T. Higgins is out for the Bengals game against the Ravens. He is dealing with a concussion. Marvin Harrison Jr. will not play for the Cardinals against the Texans. He'll miss his second straight game due to a heel injury. College basketball tonight. Number 5 UConn is home to take on Texas. Goalie trade in the NHL. The Oilers get Tristan Jarry for the Penguins in exchange for Stuart Skinner.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Cannon, coming up Monday from Week 15 in the NFL to the NBA Cup. I'll recap it all in my Upon Further Review at 7 a.m. Eastern. It's Unsportsmanlike, weekday mornings at 6, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
Waiting to rise again.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Corks, Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is the moment you've all been waiting for.
Locking down the middle of the day. Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Shout out Corks, Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp. Get on by and see them. Government between Foster and Jefferson. Delicious jumbo Gulf shrimp, crispy fried catfish, shoestring fries, honey butter rolls, beignet bites. They got it all over there at Corks, including your sauces. They got your classics, your tartar sauce, your cocktail sauce. Also got you covered with their famous Cork sauce as well. Go see them, corksfishandshrimp.com. Caleb Jackson is going to answer the transfer portal. We'll talk about that in 15 minutes. Plus, does LSU need to get involved with Bryce Underwood? We can do that in 30 minutes. But I want to start with LSU and SMU tomorrow in the Smoothie King Center. I've alluded to this multiple times this week, but this is a me thing, not a you thing, not a demand thing. It's a Hunt thing. Hunt needs LSU to play really good basketball tomorrow. I'm still hopeful about this team. I'm still hopeful about this program. You may share those sentiments. You may think they're ridiculous. Either one is perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine. I'm hopeful. I think there are some pieces on this team that give me that hope. I think watching the SEC this year gives me that hope because I don't think it's a league that is nearly as loaded as it was last year. But you cannot, if you're LSU, smoke a bunch of terrible teams, get crushed by Texas Tech and crushed by SMU, and have me, Hunt Palmer, fired up for what's to come in January and February. Can't happen. I want so badly for LSU to be playing meaningful basketball in February. I want so badly for them to make the NCAA tournament. We talked to Matthew Bruni on Wednesday. He said he thinks they're a tournament team. I'm not going to go that far. I was startled by last Sunday against Texas Tech. Startled. Now, I've told you multiple times, I think that was a perfect storm where you couldn't throw it in the ocean, and Texas Tech made 8 of 9 threes, and once that happened, you were toast. But I can't have it happen twice because you're playing 2 teams in the non-conference that are good. One of them crushed you. Here's the other one. It's SMU in the blender, doubleheader tomorrow. This SMU team, I'll tell you about them, and then I'll get to some keys. Andy Infield's their head coach. Dunk City head coach at Florida Gulf Coast when they went on that run, won 2 games, made the Sweet 16, beat Georgetown. Then he went out to USC for a little while. Now he's at SMU, and he's a good coach. They're 9-1, and interestingly and coincidentally, they are now playing their 4th straight SEC team. They played Mississippi State on the road, they played Vanderbilt on the road, and they played Texas A&M. And they have won 2 of those games. They beat Mississippi State in overtime, 87-81. They went to Vanderbilt and got smacked by 19 points. And they played A&M over the weekend on Sunday and beat them in overtime, 93-80. So they've already beaten Mississippi State and A&M. They've proven they can play. Vanderbilt got after them a little bit, and Vanderbilt's metrics are through the roof right now. We'll see what they are when they get to SEC play, but they had their way with SMU. This is a team that is 62nd in the country in offensive efficiency, but these two stats, there's 3 stats that really tell their story. They are 13th in the country in possessions. That would make sense if you just go back to Andy Enfield's Dunk City team at Florida Gulf Coast. They were running, they were throwing alley-oops, they were getting up and down the floor. And this SMU team is 13th in the country in possessions. They want to go. And Nightly Man does too. Whether or not he's got the horses to do that all the time can be debated, but he likes to go. Points per game, SMU is 15th in the country. That's a product of good basketball and getting up and down the floor. And then here's the number. 16th in the country in made free throws per game. LSU is 14th. These two teams have lived early in the season at the free throw line. You cannot allow that if you're LSU. You cannot allow that. You've got to find a way to cut off dribble penetration, contest shots at the rim, and do not let them parade to the free throw line and outshoot you there. LSU wants to do it. SMU wants to do it. Got to win that matchup. It's not a great SMU defensive team. It's not a bad one. They're 63rd in the country in defensive efficiency. But this is a team that wants to play fast and wants to get to the free throw line. Now, what do you have to play fast? It's mandatory. Guards. They got them at SMU. Boopy Miller, you'll remember that name tomorrow when the TV comes on. You go, oh, yeah, Hunt's talked about Boopy. Boopy Miller is a 6-foot guard. He's a senior. He's averaging 20.5 points per game. He's shooting 40% from 3. He's shooting 93% from the free throw line. Boopy can fill it up. Boopy had 19 on A&M. He made 10 free throws in that game for 19 points. He had 17 on Vandy. They played Mississippi State. He scored 28 points with 5 threes. And oh, by the way, Boopy's getting buckets, 20 points per game. He's also had 3 10-plus assist games. Dedon Thomas Jr., Boopy Miller, point guards, go get them. I believe this. I believe LSU is a very good point guard. I believe Dedon Thomas is very good. John Rothstein's tweeted about him a couple times, said, hey, this guy's playing at all SEC level. Now, he didn't in the game against Texas Tech. Not even close. You're playing a good point guard in this game. Dedon Thomas got to show up. Got to play some defense. Got to keep Boopy Miller off the foul line. And got to match him. Bucket for bucket, assist for assist. You got to find a way to keep LSU engaged with him. And their other guard is Jerron Pierre. You may think, I've heard of him. I see my guy Jordan Kitchen say, I've heard of him.
That's St. Aug?
St. Aug.
Oh, wow.
St. Aug. Here's the track. St. Aug to Southern Miss to Wichita State
Good
to
Lord.
Jacksonville State to SMU.
He's been everywhere.
He's been everywhere, man. He's been everywhere. Johnny Cash style. Now, Jerron Pierre got 35 points on Texas A&M. Getting buckets.
He was always good.
This is my great stat on Jerron Pierre. In the 3 SEC games, my man, St. Aug's finest, 60 points and 2 assists.
Hey, all buckets. I ain't passing it.
Buckets. I love it. 35 points on Texas A&M. But Boopy Miller and Jerron Pierre are really good guards. And LSU, you got to play some defense. My biggest concern with LSU is not the Texas Tech game. It's not Jalen Reed going down. My biggest concern with LSU on the floor moving forward is playing defense at the guard spots. Dedon Thomas is a little undersized, and he's not the most explosive athlete. Good player, but he plays at his pace with his style. And then Max McKinnon is not a good defender. And I'm concerned about LSU's ability to play defense on the wing. Like, PJ Carter's not a great defender either. He's a three-point shooter. And you got Boopy Miller and Jerron Pierre that can really score. So LSU's guards have to play better defense. Texas Tech, you let a guy get going, and you couldn't shut it off. He went for almost 30 points on you. Got to play perimeter defense if you're LSU. Now, here's the deal for the Tigers as well, off SMU. I did a little bit of cheating here, but I'm admitting to the cheating so you'll understand. I took out the overtime period at BC. LSU played great in overtime at BC. They made every field goal and every free throw that they shot, and they won the game. And that's awesome. But I omitted that for effect. Okay? So I've admitted to cheating. Just let me cook. At BC in the second half, if you take that half and then you take the 2 halves against Texas Tech. So 3 halves of basketball, chop off the overtime in BC. LSU is shooting 31% from the floor over 3 halves. That's 30 of 97, 31%. They are 5 of 35 from the three-point line. That is 14%. They've scored 82 points in those 3 halves. That would be an average of 57 points per game. 82 points. That will not hunt. It's just not good enough. And I talked about this on the story I wrote for LouisianaSports.net and on Friday's show last week when I was talking about this game with Texas Tech. I'm going, you've got to make some jump shots because LSU has made a ton of hay in these games against these bad non-conference teams of tossing it down to Nwoku and getting second chance opportunities and scoring in the paint over smaller, less athletic bigs. SMU's got a 7-footer down there. Like he's going to take up some space. You can't just own the paint, own the block, win on second chance points, out-rebound Alcorn State by 20 and get it done. You got to make some shots from the perimeter or you can't keep up. And they have guys that can do it. I've watched them do it. I've watched Max McKinnon be a good shooter in individual games. He was against Charleston State. He made 6 threes in a home game in November. I've seen De'Don Thomas make jump shots. I know that Markel Sutton can make shots and can create his own shot. I know P.J. Carter at 3 different college stops has been a dead-eye shooter. You can make shots. You have some guys on this team that can do it. But if you continue to go out there like they have in those last 3 halves and shoot 31% from the floor, even on open looks, and shoot 14% from 3, you have no chance. And I just don't believe that's what LSU is. I don't think they're that bad. I think they've played that bad for 3 halves, sans overtime in Boston. It has to change tomorrow because I don't think you're going to beat SMU with Boopie Miller and Jerron Pierre on the perimeter and what LSU's got, in my opinion, on defense. I don't think you're going to beat them 63-59. I just don't. I think to win this game, you've got to score 78 points. You might have to score 84. Like, it might be up and down. There are going to be possessions. There are going to be shots to be had, and you're going to have to go do it. Vandy scored 88 on this team. Mississippi State scored in the mid-70s in regulation. That's never been an offensive program under Chris Jans. But you have to make shots to do it. You can't do everything at the rim. You can do everything at the rim against Tarleton State. You can do everything at the rim against UNO. You can't do everything at the rim against Texas Tech and SMU. So tomorrow, in the blender, LSU and SMU, it's going to be up and down. It's going to be a fun game to watch. But LSU's got to play some defense on these guys, win the free throw line battle. I'm going to bring up the free throw stat on Monday when we break this game down. I will bring it up. You have to win that stat. And you got to make some shots. If you go 4 for 24 again from 3, you will lose by 10 points, at least. Got to make some. So we'll see. LSU and SMU tomorrow from New Orleans. I think it's a big one for the Tigers. All right, Jordan, producer's choice. You want Bryce Underwood or transfer portal next?
Bryce Underwood.
We're doing it next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Lifetime Roofing. LifetimeRoofingLA.com is the website. Look, roofing's important in South Louisiana. It just is. So take it seriously. If you think there may be an issue, you notice something when it rains, or you just feel like it might be a good time while it's not storm season to get somebody to check things out, Lifetime Roofing is happy to come and do an inspection. They'll give you, at the very least, peace of mind. If not, telling you that, hey, something's wrong, we need to handle this. It could just be a repair. It could be a new roof. But Lifetime Roofing is happy to help you out with that. Your roof protects your home. That could be your greatest investment. It also protects the people under said roof. Take it seriously with the folks at Lifetime Roofing. They offer replacements, repairs, tune-ups. They can do it all for you. They've also been involved in our community. Their core values are customer service, quality, and integrity. They take pride in setting themselves apart from other companies by being involved in the community here in Baton Rouge. They give roof giveaways every single year. They do military giveaways every single year. They help those in need this time of year. It's a pillar of our community here at Lifetime Roofing. They're based in Baton Rouge. They help out the entire state of Louisiana as well as over in Houston. So if you're looking for some help with your roof, check out Lifetime Roofing and do it at lifetimeroofingla.com.
Supreme Jasmine is premium American-grown rice. From local farms to your table, Every grain is supreme. Pick up a bag of jasmine or any other of our supreme American rice.
In South Louisiana, you can always count on good people coming together to help our children.
At Dreams Come True, we grant wishes for Louisiana children with life-threatening illnesses. But to do this, we need funds.
That's why we're trying to raise $100,000 for Dreams Come True by giving away the Blessed Builders School.
Make your backyard's dream come true while helping our kids.
Just go to dreampoolla.com and you can find out how your $25 donation might help win you a Duplessis pool.
Lock Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates has won for our clients over $175 million over the decades. But our greatest success is our clients who have chosen and trusted us to help them. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call. You've got nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan. If you get injured, you could be staring at medical bills, repair costs, and lost income. Life can be turned upside down. At Lock Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, we'll work to turn your world right side up. Hire us, and like thousands of our clients, you'll be glad you did.
Every winner knows a great play starts with a solid game plan and the right team by your side. At Sunshine, we're here to keep your operation running strong. From tractors to harvesters, we've got the John Deere equipment you need to tackle every job with confidence. Because when the work's done right, there's more time for the things that matter, like cheering on your favorite team. Make Sunshine Quality Solutions part of your playbook this season and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunnyquip.com.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
With all the delicious chicken finger options, it was an impossible decision.
How about a box combo? Good. Now
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
All right, Friday show is brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp. Talk about LSU's running back situation coming up in 15 minutes. Right now, let's talk about a complete hypothetical. I mean a complete hypothetical, but that's kind of the time of year that we're in at this point. A lot of hypotheticals out there. We feel like LSU is going to be heavy in the market for a quarterback. Right now, you've got Michael Van Buren, and that's it. Because Garrett Nussmeier is out of eligibility, and Colin Hurley's away from the team. So right now, you've got Michael Van Buren, and that's it. That won't get it done. And they did not sign one in the early signing period from high school. So you've got extensive work to do in the transfer portal. Now, if you want to be an LSU fan and go, let's just get Trinidad Chambliss, fine. Like, maybe, but we'll explore some other options in case Trinidad Chambliss, one, wants to stay at Ole Miss, or two, doesn't win his appeal and has no more eligibility left. LSU's going to have contingency plans for all of that. Bryce Underwood's interesting. And I want to be clear. Bryce Underwood's not in the transfer portal. He is not. He's at Michigan. He's their starting quarterback. They went 9-3. They got a bowl game to prepare for. Now, their world got flipped upside down yesterday, and their coach was in a jumpsuit at an arraignment today. He won't be back. But Underwood's the quarterback at Michigan and is not in the portal. But I'm a talk show host, so we can discuss options. We can discuss hypotheticals. We can discuss what ifs. And this is one of them, because quarterbacks whose coaches get fired sometimes transfer or get in the portal. And programs with not enough quarterbacks go after quarterbacks. And the question is, does Bryce Underwood fit at LSU now? There are a lot of layers to this. I think the first layer, if he goes in the transfer portal, is money. Bryce Underwood signed what we believe to be a $10 to $12 million deal at Michigan. This deal was signed during the Wild Wild West period, where you could just build up cash in a collective and dump it on whoever you wanted. As much as you want, whenever you want, go. And that's when Larry Ellison, his wife wanted a quarterback. He's got almost $400 billion before yesterday's crash. And he bought her a quarterback. Merry Christmas, babe. I went to Illinois. I don't care, but if you want a quarterback, here's your quarterback. And Michigan spent $12 million on a high school quarterback. If Bryce Underwood leaves Michigan, he's going to leave that deal. And he can't recover that deal. It's not like a baseball player opting out of his contract and going to get more money. Those rules aren't in place. So if he were to agree to a $10 million deal over the next 3 seasons with another team, the clearinghouse is going to have to determine whether or not that's legitimate. And maybe they could find a way to do that, but it is in question. It was not in question when he got that deal at Michigan. So that is obstacle number one, layer number one on this whole thing. Money matters, and if Bryce Underwood wants the most money, which he took out of high school, he's got to stay at Michigan. Now, the second piece to this is the fact that Bryce Underwood's ties to LSU largely rested with Joe Sloan. Not entirely, but there's Brian Kelly, there's Joe Sloan. That was the offensive brain trust and the quarterback position. They're gone. So the tether there that was holding off Michigan, the home state team, to get his commitment is not there anymore. That's obstacle number 2 for LSU. I don't know if he was recruited by Ole Miss. I don't know if he knows Lane Kiffin and Charlie Weiss Jr. I'm unaware, but what he was looking for at LSU is not there. Number 3, there's a difference in signing a high school quarterback with a bright future to bring into your program right behind your 5th-year senior quarterback, which was LSU's plan with Bryce Underwood. There's a difference in that process and selecting your quarterback for the 2026 season. Those are 2 different things. We know a lot more about Bryce Underwood today than we did a year ago. He started a season at Michigan, and his numbers were underwhelming. Bryce Underwood at Michigan this year, I mean, I didn't watch a lot of Michigan football. I've said that candidly. But this year at Michigan, Bryce Underwood completed 61.1% of his passes for 2,200 yards, 9 touchdowns, and 6 picks. That is pedestrian work. Now, he's a true freshman. I get it. And I don't think Sharon Moore's offense is any good. They couldn't complete a forward pass last year, and they weren't much better this year. Jim Harbaugh left, and that program offensively went into a ditch. So he's still big. He can still run. He's still got a cannon, throws a really nice ball. But you know more about him now. 9 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, and 2,200 yards per game on 60% completion. For comparison's sake, this is the past, and these options aren't available to LSU directly now, but I'm just looking at some of the big-time quarterbacks that have gone to places for big money to be the starter. Like Carson Beck at Georgia before he went to Miami threw for 3,400 yards and 28 touchdowns last year. That's 19 more touchdowns than Underwood threw for. John Mateer at Washington State threw for almost 1,000 more yards. He threw for 29 touchdowns at Washington State last year. That's who Oklahoma targeted. Cam Ward was about the same at Washington State when he went to Miami. Like when you're picking your quarterback for the next season, there are generally guys available to have thrown for 3,000 yards and thrown for 30 touchdowns and have been massively productive, and Underwood is not that. Now, those guys are older than Underwood, and I'm sure didn't light it up their freshman season. I'm not here to tell you that Bryce Underwood's bad. That's not what I'm saying at all. I don't think that at all. I think he was a very young quarterback in a terrible offensive system at a very difficult spot. and I thought they won a lot of games. But you're usually shopping year to year for these quarterbacks, and there is probably going to be a handful of quarterbacks into the portal that have been far better and are far more progressed for Labor Day weekend next year than Bryce Underwood. So what do you want to do? I got asked about Bryce Underwood earlier this week, and I'm open about this. Like, LSU football is important. I like it. When players choose other schools, I don't like that. Now, I realize that I'm not disliking them as a person. I'm all for Harold Perkins flipping from Texas A&M from Houston and coming to LSU. I'm all for Jaden Daniels leaving Arizona State and coming here. I'm all for DJ Pickett spurning in-state schools as a 5-star to come play here. I don't like it when Louisiana kids leave. It's not a rational take. It's an emotional take. It just is what it is. And when Bryce Underwood's committed for a year and then flips to Michigan, like, that makes me cranky. It probably makes a lot of you cranky. I said this on the air. I was like, look, I hope this guy makes a 4.0, meets the love of his life, and has a wonderful college experience in Michigan. I'm not pulling for him to complete a lot of passes or win a lot of games. It's an unreasonable take. It's potentially a pathetic take. But I'm not going to hide behind the microphone and go, just do whatever you want. I like LSU. I want LSU to win. So Bryce Underwood spurned LSU. That hurts. It does. Would you take him back is the question. I think ultimately the answer is yes, you would. Because he's super talented and you trust that coach, Lane Kiffin, Charlie Weiss. If you can take a D3 transfer and finish in the top 15 of the Heisman and make the playoffs, what can you do with a guy with that kind of talent? It's pretty enticing. If you feel like LSU can field better receiving core with a better coaching staff than Michigan, what's the ceiling on Bryce Underwood for 2 more years? You take it. But with all that said, I don't know what the options are. And if you lay out the transfer portal options, I may choose differently. If you tell me next year for your team at quarterback, you want Trinidad Chambliss or Bryce Underwood, I'm taking Trinidad Chambliss. It may be stupid. NFL scouts would probably think that was ridiculous. But I've watched Trinidad Chambliss play in the SEC, go up and down the field on Georgia, beat LSU with Blake Baker's defense. I've watched it. I know it's good. I'll take it. I think Bryce Underwood's good. I don't know it. And I know that Bryce Underwood's got more eligibility left than Trinidad Chambliss. But if I'm taking the sure thing. I'm a chalk guy. Give me what I know. So I think LSU fans would be split on this. I'm a little bit tongue-in-cheek when I talk about the recruiting thing there. I realize kids have options. They do the best thing for them. No one's ever asked me if I wanted to leave where I was for $12 million. Got it. I'm being tongue-in-cheek there. But there is an element of emotional being scorned by football players that leave. And you'd have to repair that in Baton Rouge. It would be repaired pretty quickly if you go out there and throw 3 touchdowns in the first half against Clemson. Pretty quick. But it's an interesting thing in this new era of college athletics where we've heard Shea Dixon say this on Matt's show on AFR, like, there is a value in coming in second in recruiting races now. There was never a value in coming in second previously. There is now. We know Bryce Underwood likes LSU, likes Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge, and came here a lot. Now we know he liked Joe Sloan. We know he was good to play for Brian Kelly. But then Oracle came in and pried him away. It'd be very, very interesting if he went in the portal and LSU became an option. And if that happens and there are options, we'll explore them and I'll give you my honest take on it. It's a wild new world in college football, but there are obstacles and layers to Bryce Underwood's next 6 weeks. And we'll just have to watch as he traverses it. Maybe he comes out after Michigan hires a coach and says, yeah, I'm here. And this discussion was moot. Maybe in the next 10 days, you get a tweet out that says, oh, Bryce Underwood transfer portal. And then we'll start the speculation rampantly around here. Just thought I'd kick things off here on a Friday. We'll see. Come back and talk about LSU's running backs. 2 of them in the portal in the last 2 days. It's next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
First American Bank and Trust. You got $12 million looking for somewhere to put it? First American Bank and Trust. More importantly, if you're a business, you're a homeowner, and you're looking for a loan, commercial loan, personal loan, homeowner's loan, First American Bank and Trust is happy to help you. Why would you do business with First American Bank and Trust? Well, they've been doing it for 115 years. They know what they're doing. They've got 25 locations throughout Southeast Louisiana. They've got a lot of assets behind them. This is not some mom and pop shop around the corner, but it feels like that when you walk in because of the people that you deal with. They are in our community each and every day. Every single decision First American Bank and Trust makes is made locally here in Southeast Louisiana. Every single call center that you call is here in Southeast Louisiana. These are people you walk around with every day. You're not calling Seattle. You're not calling Atlanta. You're not calling San Francisco. You're not getting unlimited recordings and robots and somebody that doesn't know where you are. You're getting people that are here. That's the beauty of doing business with First American Bank and Trust. So if you're looking for a residential loan, you're looking for a commercial loan, do it with the folks that have 25 locations here and have been at it for over 100 years. It's First American Bank and Trust.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit LouisianaPropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe. My whole team on wild.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
I'm lawyer Collins Locke Meredith. Among the most important factors to consider when you're hiring an injury attorney is trust. You trust your attorney will put your interest first, treat you with respect, fairness, and honesty. You trust them to be there for you when you need them. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, thousands of clients have trusted us to represent them, and for good reasons. Please visit us at LockeMeredith.com to learn more, and whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
This menu is a masterpiece, delivers every time.
This is the worst party ever. Raising Cane's!
Let's go!
The party is set!
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Quirks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
All right, we got about 25 minutes left to go here on this Friday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. Appreciate y'all hanging out with us. I hope your weekend's already started. If it hasn't, we'll get you to the finish line here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Talked a little basketball earlier, talked a little football there in the transfer portal. Speaking of said portal, LSU's had a couple running backs go in the last 48 hours. Yesterday, Juwan Johnson decided to jump in. Talked about him yesterday, where it's just a guy who's done everything LSU has asked of him and probably wants a little bit more stability, and I cannot fault him for that at all. Caleb Jackson is the other running back in that room who just hasn't found his way to the field. And it appears there was a conversation in late September of this year where the agreement was made to preserve Caleb Jackson's red shirt. Because at some point, he would have likely gotten a carry or two here or there down the stretch, and that never happened. He played in his 4 games. That's all he's allotted with his red shirt. And LSU said, okay, we'll let you preserve that red shirt. And now he'll jump into the transfer portal. It's been an interesting go for Caleb Jackson. He came onto the scene in 2023 as a reserve back. He was behind Josh Williams and showed some highlight plays. I mean, you all know the play he made when he got into the open field and flattened that Mississippi State defender on the left sideline. You saw some speed on the punt return. I loved the spark he showed in the bowl game against Wisconsin in Nussmeier's only start, got in the end zone and scored 4 times. And you really saw that combination that he's got of size, power, and speed, which is a special combination. But he just couldn't find his way as a power back in this LSU offense. You saw Josh Williams early in the season until he tore his ACL, John Emery take those carries 2 years ago, and then you saw Caden Durham kind of burst onto the scene against South Carolina, and so Williams and Durham carried those carries last year. And then this year it was Durham, and then Harlan Berry broke in, and Juwan Johnson got those carries, and Jackson just kind of got boxed out a little bit. And when you talk to people that watch a lot more tape, a lot more qualified than I do, it's just that he struggles at times to find the hole. And if you're big and strong and fast and don't know exactly where it is that you're trying to get, it doesn't help a lot. And I think that this offense was just a very, very bad fit for Caleb Jackson. I believe, and this could be completely wrong, we'll never know, I believe Caleb Jackson could have been a very productive back in a Les Miles offense. You get in the eye, you put a fullback in front of him, you get 5 road grader offensive linemen pushing forward, creating space, and get him moving downhill. Like, he's a handful. He's a problem. He's going to outrun linebackers. He can run with corners. He's stronger than safeties. Like, he's got a package. But running this zone scheme, running this scheme that doesn't create a lot of space, where LSU constantly has running backs getting hit behind and at the line of scrimmage, you just need to be a little bit shiftier to find grass. And Caden Durham showed that breaking tackles last year, and Harlan Berry certainly got that. Josh Williams had a lot of that. He made an NFL roster doing it. And Jackson just didn't quite have that. And so we talked to him in the spring of this year. And we said, look, did you consider transferring? And he was candid with us. He's like, yeah, I mean, that conversation came up, but ultimately, like, I want to play here. I'm from here. He went to Liberty High right down the street from LSU. I want to play for LSU. It's what I always dreamed of. It's what I want to do. And that's admirable. But what's the first part of that sentence? I want to play. And he just wasn't going to play. And if Caden Durham and Harlan Berry are back, how many carries are available? Especially if you go to the portal, which LSU's going to do, and get a running back. Talking about being 4th on the depth chart in your 4th year of college? Probably not the spot. So Caleb Jackson will look elsewhere, and I'm hopeful he finds a scheme that fits that skill set, because it's still there. I just don't think what LSU was doing on the ground the last 2 years really fit what Caleb Jackson's good at. So where does that leave LSU at this point? I mean, it's razor thin, y'all. Trey Holly's gone. He's at Southern. JT Lindsey's still away from the team. Who knows what the future holds there? Juwan Johnson has left. Caleb Jackson has left. All you've got at running back now is Harlan Berry and Caden Durham. That's it. And as we talked to Preston Guy about in the first hour, like, you may change running back coaches. You change running back coaches, that could impact the 2 running backs you have left that signed on to play for Frank Wilson. And that's not a reason to hire a running backs coach. But I'm just fleshing out these situations, exploring these situations. If you change running backs coaches, could you lose one or both of those guys? Like, is it possible in 4 weeks that LSU doesn't have a running back on campus? I would submit yes. I would submit unlikely. I think it's unlikely that LSU has no running backs. But your max is 2, and that's nowhere near enough. So running back becomes absolutely positively, to me, the number 2 priority in this transfer portal cycle as it sits right now. Quarterback is far and away number one because you have one guy who hasn't really proven himself to be a high-level SEC quarterback and nothing else because Colin Hurley's away from the team. So you have to address quarterback. That is first, unquestionably. But running back second, because you need at least 3 dudes, if not 4 or 5 in the room, and you've got 2 dudes. So everybody's going to point to Keywan Lacey, and that's awesome, and that's great if it happens. Everybody's going to look at the video that surfaced on the internet yesterday of the recording of Lane on the phone with this kid and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know anything, and we'll wait till Ole Miss finishes their season to kind of figure some of that stuff out and the portal opens. But running back is a huge need. Here's my deal. Lane Kiffin's run the ball no matter who his running back's been. Like, they didn't run it great last year. But pretty much across the board in Oxford, without a 5-star recruit back there, which, by the way, Harlan Berry is, and Caden Durham was close, they've run the ball very well. I think there's scheme in that. I think there's development of the offensive line in that. I think there's space creating and tempo that Lane Kiffin's able to get to that helps you run the ball. And I think that he'll find a back. But you've got to add more bodies to that room because you look up and you've got 2 scholarship running backs on your team that are potentially linked to your running backs coach whose future is rocky here. That's a shaky spot. But the portal can cure everything. The portal can quite literally cure any roster woe if you execute properly in that. LSU has shown a propensity for that last year. Lane Kiffin has shown a propensity for that this year. He's told you in the introductory press conference, hey, I know it was available to us at the last place I was. I know what this place looks like out there in the recruiting circles. We'll be okay with getting players. And I trust that. But it's still a little unsettling to look at the running back situation and go, well, you got 2 on scholarship. Do you have one signed in this class? Nope. Do you know what JT Lindsey's future is? Nope. Lot to fix there for Lane Kiffin and this offensive staff. We'll see if he can get an offensive line, a running backs coach in place. And then got to figure out who the rest of your backs are going to be. But we got time. Got a couple of weeks before we sort all that out. So Juwan Johnson, Caleb Jackson in the transfer portal for LSU. Looking for LSU coverage? You can find it. Hunt on LSU on YouTube, wherever you find your podcasts. If you're looking for LSU and that's really all you care about, don't want to hear much about the black and gold, not as keen on some of the other things that we talk about here, certainly basketball, you can find our stuff at Hunt on LSU on YouTube or wherever you find your podcast. We're going to come back, close things out with some Take it or Leave It coming up next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. David Duvall and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. Closet space can be a big, big deal. It wasn't something I ever considered, but I was in the old house, and then girlfriend, soon to be fiance, and then wife moved in, and she goes, this is not going to work. So we knew kid number 2 was coming, and so we knew we were going to move, and we moved, and we worked out our closet situation that way. You don't have to move to work out your closet situation. If you refinanced 3 or 4 years ago and you've got 2.25%, and you're not going anywhere, but your closet space needs some work, David Duvall and his team can come in. They can customize a closet space exactly for you. It starts with the consultation that's free. That starts with a questionnaire, and you look at what you're trying to put in there, how many pairs of shoes you got, how many suits you got, where you're putting your jackets, and they'll put something together perfectly designed for you, and aesthetically, it will look fantastic. Go see the pictures of their great work at OneBathAndClosets.com. Request that consultation, understand that financing is available, and know that David Duvall and his team are going to do it right the first time and leave the competition behind. It's One Bath and Closets. You can find that website at OneBathAndClosets.com.
This menu is a masterpiece, delivers every time.
This is the worst party ever. Raisin Cane's!
Let's go!
The party is saved!
Peter, Mr. Billingsley.
Celebrate the holidays with Raisin Cane's chicken fingers. One love.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit louisianapropane.com.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs. Set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free confidential help now.
Investing in a new roof doesn't have to be overwhelming. At Pelican Roofing, we offer 0 interest for 21 months because everyone deserves a safe, secure home. Trusted?
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
Weekend is here, at least for me. I hope that's the case for you. Hope it's been that way for hours now. But if it's not, we'll get you to the finish line here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. One more reminder, our Friday show is brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp. Christmas party coming up, or especially if you've got a big group, family members coming over for the holidays and don't really want to dirty the kitchen too much, don't want to spend all your time at the kitchen, rather relax and enjoy some family time, let Corks do the cooking for you. They're happy to feed in bulk. Whether you've got just a small gathering of 5 or 6 people or you got the whole family coming over, Corks can do it either way. They're happy to feed in bulk. It's from the folks that brought you Kuyans across the river. They have done catering for years and years and years over at Kuyans and specialize it at Corks as well. Get those trays of crispy fried catfish, jumbo Gulf shrimp, fries, hush puppies. They can do it all for you there at Corks. Load you down with their sauces. It's a great option. So go check it out online at corksfishandshrimp.com. They're on Government between Foster and Jefferson. It is Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp. They bring you our Friday shows. Been a fun week. It's kind of a slower time right now, especially with LSU football. I don't know that there's a ton of folks that are just locked in on the Texas Bowl. This is a time of year where usually we would be locked in on that. It's just not. We'll talk about it at the end of next week a little bit with LSU and Houston. I don't know anything about Houston other than Willie Fritz is their head coach and Connor Wigman's their quarterback. I don't know what their record is. I don't know who they beat or lost to. I don't know anything about Houston football as we sit here today. I'll brush up on that as we move forward into next week, and we'll get to that eventually. But I think right now, kind of all eyes are on LSU finishing out this coaching staff for football. All eyes are certainly on what is going to happen in the transfer portal. Right now, it's all defections because nobody can get in, go anywhere, visit, or do anything. It's all people that are leaving. And then you'll move into bowl season. You'll quickly get into the portal, and then I guess we'll get close to baseball. But I'm going to try to keep up with basketball every step of the way. I talked about LSU and SMU on the hardwood coming up on Saturday night in the blender. Did that at the top of hour number 2. So I'm hopeful for tomorrow. We'll see how things go. But for right now, let's take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Presented to you by Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer, crafted by America's oldest brewery. Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
I'll tell you what, Flight by Yingling's not too far off in my future. It's going to happen if you're looking for something cold and delicious to drink this weekend. How about Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer? You're talking about 95 calories. You're talking about 2.6 carbs. Everything you're looking for in a light beer, including all that flavor. Yingling's the oldest brewery in America, still family-owned and operated to this day. It's Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer.
Okay, so maybe Phillip Rivers has been inspiring people in the NBA as 48-year-old Paul Pierce has come out and said
heavens.
he can guard this version of LeBron James right now. Quote, Pierce said, not LeBron's last game, but the last 3 games before that, I can guard him. The last game he was referring to, LeBron had 19 points, 15 rebounds, 8 assists with 3 blocks. Is the truth speaking the truth? Take it or leave it.
I will leave it. The truth needs to chill out. I don't know if the truth was a lockdown defender back in his day.
Not even close.
He could get a bucket, but he wasn't trying to lock anybody down. He's sure as heck getting shed in the suit, putting on a pair of sneakers and going to guard LeBron right now. That's a bad take, Paul.
I don't know. Maybe Phillip Rivers, he's just inspiring everybody to get back into it. So, unfortunately, my cousin, North Carolina's offensive coordinator, Freddie Kitchens, will not return next season. The school announcing his departure after a 4-8 season of Bill Belichick, blah, blah, blah. North Carolina offense was one of the worst in the country, ranking 119th in the FBS.
That's close to the bottom.
Very abysmal. Is this the end of my cousin? Take it or leave it.
No, I'll leave it. He's still got something to live for. I'm just not going to be in Chapel Hill calling ball plays. I don't. Is this a crime? Is this a crime? I don't give a rip about Bill Belichick, his girlfriend, or North Carolina football. I'm out. I don't care. I'm not going to watch them. Yeah. I'm not going to gamble on them. They're not going to win. I don't care. I'm out.
Well, look, you feel the same way a lot of people feel around America. It just feels like a circus. Well, I'll tell you this, Hunt. It's the problem is because it's Bill Belichick. That's the issue. It's bizarre. And I was in the first time it broke, hey, he's dating this girl and she's like calling all the shots. Now we're a year into this and I don't care. I'm out. It's never going to stop.
Jordan.
Jordan. We got Jordans, we got Jordans. She's a Jordan, though, so I don't claim her at all. So I just think the problem with that is Bill Belichick put on this, I can say put on, but he had this persona over the last 20-some years of a shrewd, don't care about nothing. And then now you got a girl younger than me running them around. So, anyways, this one's a little weird. Steelers pass rusher TJ Watt had a successful surgery Thursday to repair a partially collapsed lung that he sustained after a dry needling session at the team practice facility Wednesday. His brother J.J. Watt said on social media, casually having a collapsed lung, take it or leave it.
I'm going to leave that. I'm not an MD. I'm not going to be confused for one anytime soon, but that seems not good.
Seems you probably should get that checked out.
I personally prefer my lungs to be inflated.
Yeah.
And not collapsed. And so I don't think I'm going to be too casual about it if it does collapse.
But this is the thing. We've seen this happen before. Remember, this is how Justin Herbert got his start in the NFL. When Tyrod Taylor had a collapse, they was giving some injection and they collapsed his lung.
Well, I guess if you're Tyrod Taylor and you've been in the NFL for 913 years, you're going to suffer every single malady that you can find. And so it's not surprising that Tyrod's had a collapsed
lung. So, TJ Watt, collapsed lung.
Crazy.
That's it for take it or leave it.
All right, just seeing from Sam Spiegelman, Division II non-select state champions, the Iowa something. They look like LSU, and they got purple and gold. I got the name of the town right. It's Iowa. It's spelled I-O-W-A, which most people would say Iowa. Iowa. I know where it is, know what they're called. I don't know what their team name is, though. But they won state, so congratulations to the kids over there at Iowa. Big weekend down in the Dome. Big weekend for sports in New Orleans. I picked the Saints to win. Do I feel good about that? No, I do not. I do not feel good about it because last time I picked the Saints to win, they got smashed. I think I picked them to beat Atlanta, and it was terrible. And so they need to come out and play a little bit better than that. But there's a chance, as we've talked about, really since August, to build some late-season momentum. And I still think, despite their record, that Carolina has some flaws. They're better than I thought. I readily admit that, but I just am not ready to trust Bryce Young to go on the road and do something awesome against the Saints defense. So I think the Saints stay in it. I think they win the game. I did not pick LSU and SMU. And I'm feeling like I probably need to make that pick here in the next 60 seconds.
Got a minute. Let's go.
I didn't pick them to beat Texas Tech, but I thought they'd be a lot more competitive than that. I picked them to lose that game. I'm going to pick them to lose this game too. I don't want to do that to end the show here on a Friday, but I'm still a little scarred about what we saw in Fort Worth. But I'll tell you this. I'll be really encouraged if they can play that team, that SMU team that plays a high tempo, scores a lot of points, has two really good guards, a 7-footer on the block. If they can play those guys straight up and even beat them, it would be so encouraging and so suggestive that Sunday really was just a perfect storm of Texas Tech hitting a bunch of shots and LSU not being able to shoot at all. I think they'll play better. Certainly my hope. We'll see. That's the two showdowns in New Orleans that we'll be talking about on Monday. We'll also have a Heisman winner, and we'll start getting into the college football playoff on Monday as well. Hope you'll have a great and safe, happy weekend. Matt's going to drive you home next after further review from Marucci. We'll be back on Monday talking about the weekend in sports. Y'all have a happy one and a safe one. Our Friday shows brought to you by Corks.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC. You know the Fabry name. They've been in business here in Baton Rouge for 35 years. But now they've got a point for Chevrolet and GMC. Thinking, well, where is it? It's on Highway 61 in St. Francisville. You're going, I know the dealership in St. Francisville on Highway 61. It's not a Fabry. It is now. They started on October 1st, took over, and they've got one of the largest pre-owned and new car lots in the state. There at Fabry GMC Chevrolet. If you're looking for Chevy Tahoe, if you're looking for Chevy Silverado, they got them. You're looking for Sierras, Yukons, Denali's on the GMC side, they've got them as well. You know the Fabry family. You know they've been pillars in this community for 3 decades. You know the customer service you're going to get when you deal with a Fabry Automotive Group point. Go to FabryChevrolet.com. Check out that entire inventory. It's vast. And go by and see them Highway 61 in St. Francisville. It's Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Fabry Chevrolet GMC.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
It's time for Christmas on the River, Cajun style. Join us for the 35th Annual Festival of the Bonfires, December 13th through 15th at